Hello, I'm Pastor Dudley Hodges at Boynton Beach Community Church. Thanks for connecting. Got a question for you this morning. What kind of mood are you in? I read a story about a woman who was talking with her friend and she said, "Hey, did you wake up grumpy this morning?" She said, "No, I decided to let him sleep in." We all wake up in different kinds of moods. Some days we're happy, some days we're sad, some days we may feel disappointed or anxious or angry, and the list goes on and on. Sometimes we might say, "Hey, I'm in a really good mood today." Other times we would say, "I'm in a really bad mood." Here's a question. If you're in a bad mood, how could you get into a better mood? Well, thankfully, the Bible gives us some very helpful advice. This is a verse from 1 Thessalonians. It says this, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." You see, regardless of what we're going through, we can choose to focus on things we can be thankful for. We can choose to thank God for who He is and what He's done for us. And as we do that, it changes how we feel emotionally. In the Bible, there's a very strong connection between gratitude and joy. There was a man named Paul, follower of Jesus back in the first century. And one time, Paul's in prison. He's in some pretty difficult circumstances because of his faith in Jesus. But he writes this letter to his Christian friends, encouraging them to be both grateful and joyful. And he says this, "Rejoice in the Lord always." I'll say it again, rejoice. Now notice that we're not encouraged to rejoice in our circumstances. Why? Because they're always changing. Sometimes our circumstances are good, sometimes they're not so good, sometimes they're really, really hard. But we can do this. We can choose to rejoice in Jesus because He never changes. So how do you actually do that? Well, one thing you can do is look back and remember what Jesus has done for you. If you're a Christian today, Jesus has settled your past. You are completely forgiven. You have been rescued. Years ago, I was a firefighter and paramedic, and whenever our crew would rescue someone, they were grateful and they were joyful. Well, in the same way, we can be grateful and joyful because Jesus has rescued us. And we can also do this. We can look down the road and say, you know what? Jesus promised that He's coming back. He's promised that He will make all things new, including us. Jesus said that one day we're going to get a new body. Well, think about that. Hopefully that will make you joyful and thankful at the same time. And then there's not just looking back or looking ahead, but looking around and seeing what Jesus is doing today, giving us His strength, His wisdom, His power, His peace, remembering that Jesus is praying for us. And listen, when you take a few moments to think about Jesus, when you take a few moments to thank God for Jesus, it will change how you feel emotionally, and it will point you toward gratitude and joy. Hey, thanks again for connecting. I'd like to invite you to join us on Sunday mornings at 10:30 for our online worship service. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as through our website. And today, if you've got questions about what it means to follow Jesus, would you do this? Shoot us an email. Here's the address, info@bbcconline.org. And listen, whatever today may bring, I'm praying for you. And this is my prayer, that God will give you the grace to give thanks in all circumstances, and that God will give you His grace to rejoice in the Lord always. Thanks again for connecting. God bless you. Go in His peace.